Welcome to Impact. I'm Nancy Pasternak. Kicking off our show, another vacant building in downtown St. Louis is set to receive a facelift. Catherine reached out to family and friends. She came across something surprising. Many of those people say they too had felt the impact of epilepsy in their lives. For example, a doctor in a remote location could send video from the goggles to a specialist miles away. It's exciting to perform in your first student play. But for young people who are deaf or have a communication disorder, that was never an option until now. The history of chalk art dates back to the 1500s. In Britain, artists known as screevers took to the pavement. Their work often focused on political satire. Helene eventually moved back to St. Louis to be closer to family. It was here she decided to combine her expertise with her love of art by forming a fine arts consulting business. In its first year, Neighborhood Nets put up 91 nets throughout the community. But its founder didn't stop there. Instead, he created a curriculum that helps develop the student athlete's mind as well as his ability. Did you ever stop to think about those who make the biggest impact on your life? For the families in our first story, that person is someone they never met. Cordell Whitlock shows us how St. Louis Children's Hospital is giving these families the chance to meet their heroes face to face and thank them for the gift of life. From the catwalk to the conference room, to creating the perfect photo shoot.
Sure, but put the jacket on and let me see.
Helene Syed is in the thick of it.
Are you gonna have to really suck it in?
Oh,
No, I want a man. Okay. I decided. I thought it looked a little more put together.
On the outside, you can't help but notice Helene's personal style. No detail is overlooked, from her shoes to her designer threads. But those who know her say Helene Syed is much more than meets the eye.
She, to me, is one of the most well-read, well-informed people that I know. She fascinates me with her knowledge of pop culture, fashion, art, literature. I mean, she's really amazing.
Syed, a John Burroughs School graduate, says her parents exposed her to an enormous amount of culture and arts from an early age.
I was blessed because my parents were both hugely involved in the St. Louis cultural and artistic world. My father was from Iran, so we traveled a lot, in the Middle East and Europe from the time I was very young.
Those influences guided Syed to Boston College, where she studied art history and English literature. She later moved to New York, where she first worked at Christie's auction house.
Every single day, seeing the finest and the most incredible, it was like a museum every day of furniture, paintings, rugs, jewelry, rare books, rare wines. I mean, it was an incredible, education in every field of the arts.
Syed later worked in an art gallery, then got involved in the film business, working as associate producer on the movie Catwalk.
I produced a feature documentary, which happened to be about the fashion world. We followed Kate Moss, Christy Turlington, Naomi Campbell through collections in New York, Paris, and London, Milan. And then that led me to a job at Calvin Klein, and I produced their print advertising for a couple of years.
Helene eventually moved back to St. Louis to be closer to family. It was here she decided to combine her expertise with her love of art by forming a fine arts consulting business.
At the time, there really wasn't anybody else doing that, and so I just thought I would try and see if I could build a business that way.
She reconnected with fellow Burroughs graduate and longtime friend William Shearburn, who owns an art gallery near Forest Park.
She's worked with me at art fairs, she's helped in the gallery, and then we've worked together with clients in terms of her bringing clients to the gallery to help choose pieces.
Let's just try having them, either standing up on the scooter if you like that, but also maybe standing to the side.
Then last spring, Syed decided to take on a new challenge, becoming style editor at St. Louis Magazine. It's a job, she says, that combines her passions for art, fashion, and study of the world.
I think all these things go hand in hand. In fashion, there are references every day to art, film, literature. Fashion tends to look backwards a lot, so there are a lot of references. Every month there's a style section, which I edit. We do small photo shoots for that. I write articles, I profile people for that. And then looking down the road, we have significant shoots, probably 4 or 5 times a year.
Syed says St. Louis is a great place to be a style editor with its thriving arts community, along with its growing number of up-and-coming fashion designers.
My dress is by a local designer here, Emily Brady-Koppler. Her line is called Wei Ming, and she's just been picked up nationally by Neiman Marcus.
Her Central West End home features works by world-renowned artists like Pablo Picasso and some St. Louis artists as well.
I like to champion and, talk about people who are doing exceptional things locally, which is true in the magazine. We like to highlight people here who are doing things in fashion, a jewelry designer launching a new line that's maybe going to, take off.
Syed also hopes to share with St. Louis readers the insight she's gained from her 14 years in New York and her travels around the world.
I'm going to, kind of slowly introduce a couple of new features into the style section, one of which is going to be a travel section. I think right now we're calling it Stylish Destinations.
She's also planning to profile St. Louisans with fashion sense.
Something that really shows that that person has a different way of expressing themselves, or an interesting way of expressing themselves that stands out.
And while she continues to travel and explore her passions for art, culture, and fashion, Helene Syed hopes to leave her mark here in St. Louis as well.
There is a level of sophistication in St. Louis, of interest, of creativity here that I think maybe a lot of people don't give St. Louis credit for. And so I'd like to showcase that.
For State of the Arts, I'm Nancy Pasternak. As breast surgeon Julie Margentaler removes cancerous tumors from a patient's body, she won't be sure she's got all the cancer out until future pathology reports come back.
For most breast cancers, you really can't see the extent of cancer with your naked eye, and so what we typically rely on is a microscopic evaluation.
But a new tool used only here in St. Louis may soon help doctors worldwide. Doctors with Barnes-Jewish Hospital and the Washington University School of Medicine are using these goggles to catch stray cancer cells and protect healthy tissue.
So what color codes are we using here?
It begins with the OR lights being dimmed and special infrared lights turned on. Through these space-age looking goggles, Dr. Margentaler can see the cancer that was in the woman's breast while she's in the operating room.
So that's basically showing the track of the cancer.
There was a great need for something that can allow the surgeons to see cancer in real time so that they will be able to operate on the patients effectively.
The invention is the brainchild of Dr. Samuel Achillefu, a professor of radiology and biomedical engineering at Washington University. He knew surgeons were currently relying on MRI and CT scan tests run prior to surgery to determine the location of cancerous cells.
Once you're in the surgical room, they are not there anymore.
Common practice requires doctors remove cancerous tumors and surrounding tissue that may or may not also be cancerous. If tests show more cancer, it often means another surgery. So about 4 years ago, Dr. Achillefu began forming a team to tackle the problem.
These goggles were really designed to use a special type of light that's known as near-infrared fluorescence. It's a light your eyes can't see. And we did it on purpose because we wanted to be sure that we can detect light from cancer with very high sensitivity.
His invention, still so new it doesn't yet have a formal name, works like this. A contrast agent in the form of a clear dye is injected into the patient. It attaches to cancer cells. When infrared lights are shined, the cancer cells glow, so doctors can see the fluorescent markings through the display in their head-mounted goggles. You can see it on the computer screen.
This camera has a very sensitive materials that can capture the near infrared light. Initially, we thought it was simple to do, and then in the process of developing the technology, we realized we needed experts in different areas to help bring them together.
Dr. Achillefu enlisted optical experts at the University of Arizona to help build the head display unit. He's also depended strongly on the work of PhD students in biomedical and computer engineering.
The first challenge was to make it lightweight, to squeeze all the optical components into a small camera and getting a display which was also small.
Suman Mandel and Shenhui Gao both grew up with video gaming on their TVs and PCs. That later led to careers in imaging research and computer engineering. Both are proud to be part of such an important project.
Well, I'm feeling we are really doing something innovative and really changing the world.
When it comes to technological advances, you need young people. They grew up knowing nothing else but toys, instruments, devices, and gadgets. And so they understand how it works. They understand how to make electronic connections. They understand miniaturization, how to make things much smaller than it is. For them, it's like playing games, really. But then the games they are playing is saving lives along the way.
Can I have a heavy scissor, please?
Surgeons working with Dr. Achillefu are optimistic about the goggles' future. They are using it right now for breast and skin cancers as part of a human trial involving 20 patients. But they believe it may be used in the future to visualize any type of cancer.
We believe that we'll be able to use this technology to reduce the need for reoperations, which reduces patient anxiety, patient care costs, and overall costs for the healthcare system.
This technology may also have future application in telemedicine. For example, a doctor in a remote location could send video from the goggles to a specialist miles away.
Is this plugged in?
Dr. Achillefu's team is seeking FDA approval for a molecular agent for use with the goggles that will target cancer cells for a longer period of time than the dye used in this trial. He hopes to bring the goggles to market within a few years. I'm Nancy Pasternak for Innovations.